Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this week's Xbox Factor podcast. I am one of your hosts, MrBooMStickXL, and normally with me doing the show is, of course, the Welsh Gamer. Unfortunately, he's feeling a bit under the weather, so I needed to find myself another co-host. But for me, I got really lucky because I found two amazing co-hosts, and I want to introduce them very quickly. First up, you know him as being one of the internet good guys, especially when you talk about Twitter. He has an amazing YouTube channel. He is a Breakfast with Boom panel member. Please welcome Zemi Games.
Thank you so much, Boom. Super excited to be here. And thank you so much for throwing me the invite yesterday. I think this is like my third time on the Xbox Factor podcast, so I'm super excited. Always love talking about Xbox as it's my main way to play. So thank you so much, Boom.
It's great to have you as always. And next, and certainly not least of the two, you know him as being a regular panel member on Primetime Gaming. He is our resident GameStop know-it-all, and he's also a content creator extraordinaire himself. Please welcome Gaming Forte.
Yo, what's up, guys? Needed to come help my man Boom because he needed some help, and I'm always here to help when I'm available. So I am excited to talk about these subjects.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of them. We actually have a total of 7. Depending on how fast we go through them, we might, in fact, be able to get through all 7. But, I want to open up with some Xbox Scarlet reported rumors or news. I pulled this story from comicbook.com, one of my favorite sites. And apparently, Microsoft is putting a huge emphasis on a 4K camera in the new console, and for good reason. Now, listen, according to the report, the Xbox Scarlet is doubling down on camera technology. Now, before anyone freaks out and starts screaming Kinect 3.0 failure, you have to understand Microsoft's ideology behind this. You see, now, a good friend of the show, Randall Thor 19. Now, obviously, I'm a big fan of his work. I watched a video of his this morning while I was getting ready to get myself into the gym. And it was a 10-minute video, and if you are not subscribed to Randall Thor 19, I highly recommend it because he is a big Xbox dude, and, he is the guy with 1 million gamer score, so he does talk about Xbox both positively and negatively when it's necessary, and he is not a fan of the camera. He hated Kinect for the 360. He talks about in his video how much he hated Kinect 2.0. And he says something in his video that I just wanted to kind of just, focus in on for a second. And he mentioned big-time streamers would not need a 4K camera because obviously they're going to probably be playing on, monster rigs, right? And, though I agree with him, okay, this is where I don't, because the one thing that we have to understand about Microsoft's sensibility when it comes to streaming is they have put a big emphasis and a lot of money into Mixer. They obviously signed Ninja to bring popularity to the streaming service. And the one thing that's really interesting and amazing about the Xbox platform is anyone can stream, meaning that you can be a small-time YouTube channel like myself, who doesn't even have 3,000 subs, and get a new game and say, you know what, I feel like showing this off to the community. Maybe I got a preview, and the company that sent me the code wants me to play this game, so I get out there and I play the game, and I start talking with people in the chat, and everyone is having fun, right? And I'm not a big-time streamer. In fact, I'm the smallest fry you could possibly pick, to watch a stream. And, of course, if you are a big-time streamer, let's say like Ninja, for instance, he's a multi-millionaire. He can have the hottest and biggest rig going because that's his business. So when I heard that the report that Gizmondo was talking about, they had this to say: Xbox Scarlet is putting putting a huge emphasis on camera technology with the current camera capable of 4K with 2 millisecond lag. Apparently, the camera is very impressive, especially compared to the PS5 camera, which is said to use an older camera technology. Now, unfortunately, no further details were divulged, but it's, I gotta be honest with you. So I want to go to Zemi first on this. Zemi, we were talking pregame, and we were talking about live streaming content versus, recorded content, and how when you go live, things could go wrong, right? Like, things absolutely can go wrong. Like last week's stream, which I lost sleep the next day, folks. I want you to understand. I was so distraught and dejected from the problems that YouTube was having. As a content creator, it crushed me. That's why, thank goodness, in the last couple of streams, it's been great. And I'm hoping for that today. But I want to get your opinion on the streaming aspect and whether or not a 4K camera with a minimum 2 millisecond lag would be good for the Scarlet. What are your thoughts on that, Zemi?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that there's definitely three different, scenarios where this rumor, I guess, would come into play, and I think the first one would be VR.
Okay, yes, and we're going to get into that too.
They have like sensors that like watch the person as they play, so they know what direction they're moving their head and stuff. So I think that would definitely come into play with this. The second one is they might be, trying out the old saying, the third time's the try. Or third time's the charm with the Kinect. It's failed the last two times that they've tried it on the Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Maybe they're gonna go out and try it again. I don't know. I think that's probably going to be the less likely one, seeing how Microsoft has treated failing hardware in the past. And then the third option is there is something new that no one knows about, and maybe it has to do with Mixer, maybe it has to do with some other application that's going to be on the new system. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it. I just hope that, it's not something that many gamers are just going to, throw under the rug. If it's just a camera for streaming, Mixer, your Xbox allows you to stream on Mixer. A lot of people like to do that, but I just don't see enough people wanting to do that to want a 4K camera. So I think that the most likely scenario, if this rumor is true, is that it's going to be with VR. And if they're creating a camera that's 4K, 2 millisecond response time, I think it's probably a safe bet that they're probably also making their own VR headset to go with it.
Yes, and you are correct. Now, there's a couple of scenarios here that I want to go into, but I want to first get Forte's opinion on this. Like I said, big streamer or not, the fact that a gamer, right, has the ability to share his or her love with gaming, with the world, especially if it's, let's say, for instance, a game like Ghost Recon. You buy the Maximum Edition and you're getting it a couple of days early, right? You're getting it a week early, and you're not a big time streamer. You don't have 400,000 subscribers, or even 10,000 for that matter, and you had thoughts and aspirations of wanting to get into this amazing community of streamers. They give you the opportunity, and with a newer piece of hardware that has upped the ante on pretty much everything, having a 4K camera in there could inspire the future ninjas of gaming, and I think that is absolutely amazing. As an old-timer, that excites me because I don't necessarily watch people stream, but when, they put it in your face, like I've actually sat and watched some of Ninja stuff, and I'm like, okay, I can see why the kids dig this dude, and I've watched, people like that are on my show stream their stuff, like Moach, for instance. I've watched a few of his streams, and though it's not something I'm going to sit there for 2 hours and watch, I have to show my support and sit there for 10-15 minutes, and it is interesting. But I want to get your opinion on this, Forte. Having a 4K camera built in. Now, again, I don't necessarily know. We don't have any information that this is going to be like an added thing that's going to be an added expense. We don't know if this is going to be something that's going to, and I would imagine it would probably be separate. After the fiasco that 2.0 was, $500 compared to the PS4 at $400, I believe that if it is going to be a 4K camera that works with this console, it's probably going to be optional. But what are your opinions on the fact that we might get a 4K camera with Scarlett?
As soon as I saw that, I rolled my eyes. I was like, "Oh God, the word camera is like Xbox is in the situation it's in because of cameras. Because there's nothing wrong with this iteration of it overall. I just think the stigma of just the word camera and Xbox just don't go together too well. The Kinect did really, really well, and it gave Microsoft a approach where they felt like they can replicate that, throughout the whole console base when it came to Xbox, and gamers really didn't take too well to it. But the biggest thing is, if this is a situation like you said for streaming and stuff, yeah, I'm 100%, because that's where everything is now. Everything is about streaming, showing off your game, getting your face out there. They're huge into the Xbox Ambassador program. They do a lot of that stuff for Mixer, so having their brightest and best out there for people to see and talk to, that's very beneficial to them. Now, as of right now, you can hook up any webcam to your Xbox.
Yes,
One
that is correct.
And your Xbox
yes.
One X. It doesn't matter what camera, 4K, anything. It will natively work on there, and you could stream using that camera. The biggest thing with Microsoft, I just want them to do this. I don't want a camera just for streaming. If you're going to make this camera, it has to be with VR in mind. You have to be on the cuffs of saying that we're bringing VR to the.
Well, yeah, we're actually going to get. That's actually the second half of this topic, because that actually is a great point. And you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to you in a second, because I want to read what the report is also indicating. The report, again, from Gizmodo, is speculating at this point that it is possible that the Xbox Scarlett will in fact support high-end VR. Now, the report is saying that either the Xbox division is currently in development of its own VR headset, which I gotta be honest with you, I don't think that's going to be the case, because of the fact that they're gun shy from Kinect 2.0. But maybe they made a deal with Oculus, HTC, or another VR headset maker. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This makes a lot of sense, because in numerous interviews, Phil Spencer stated that VR is something that they have looked into, but because of the wire situation, they decided against it. Now, with the newer VR headsets, like the Oculus Quest, which was released earlier this year, it's completely wireless. And because they have a good relationship with Oculus, it would make perfect sense that there could be an Oculus to release alongside the new hardware. Let's say, for instance, it's probably going to be black plastic, right? That's probably what it's going to be like the X is. But if they released it, let's say, for instance, if you remember when the 360 launched, it was white. It had the off-white, and they could release an Xbox branded Oculus that they could sell with the Xbox logo on it, whether it be black or white, it doesn't matter, which would be optional. Now, I am a VR supporter. I have been since day one. I don't have a PC, and thanks to, of course, the new Oculus Quest, which I'm considering picking up at the end of the year, you don't need one, but I do support PlayStation VR, and I absolutely love it. And I've been saying for the longest time that I would love for Microsoft to get into the VR, arena, even if they have only third party and they just have the system, it's formulated, or programmed to accept it. let me go right back to Forte. What are your thoughts on the possibility of them teaming up with a third party VR to allow to work on the Scarlet?
I think that's more of a possibility than anything. I think Microsoft, they don't want to go. I don't think they want to develop anything like that themselves. They'll give the functionality and give it the support that it needs once they get it off the ground. But Microsoft, we already know they're making hardware for, especially just for the Xbox, just because they know people want it. VR hasn't burned the world on fire or anything. I mean, it's doing well. Sony has the most so when it comes to their VR unit, and that's just because it's the least expensive one of all of them. And there's a market for that, but Microsoft probably doesn't want to invest in that market so deeply where they want to create their own hardware. But they do have all these different partnerships with everybody. So I can see them making, now if the camera is what they're saying is Oculus to say, we can give you support for the headset itself, but you have to manufacture the camera. I can see that being a thing too. I just don't want the thing with the camera is I just don't want the camera to be anything to have anything to do with games.
I understand. Yeah, that makes sense.
If it's not streaming, if you ain't streaming with that camera, or it's not just for the ability to use it to play VR games, I don't want it.
So basically what you're saying is you don't want to see Rare taking off a AAA project to make Kinect games, is what you're basically saying.
No, I don't want anything. If it's not a VR game, I don't want it to be anything but VR or streaming, nothing else. But I think that's what everybody's going to be worried about. If Microsoft does create this camera, which it is very feasible they do, because that's the wave right now. 4K video streaming.
Yes.
Mixer supports it for up to 4K streaming, so you can get a 4K webcam that shows your beautiful face at 4K and your gameplay at 4K. It's beneficial to a lot of people, and just to have it tied into your Xbox overall would be a good thing. I just think people are just afraid of the word camera, and that's why Rand feels the way he feels, because he feels like Xbox wouldn't be in the situation they're not in a terrible situation now, but this generation.
But basically, they stumbled out of the gate terribly. Yeah, then
because of that camera.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, no, and that's the thing. And Zemi, I want you to. I'm going to go to you on close out this opening topic before I get into topic 2, and I just a quick something I want to say to the community prior to going to topic 2 is, as long as it's an option. See that if there's one thing that we can all agree on, Microsoft in the last couple of years has gone out of their way, and this is thanks to Phil Spencer and his vision, is the word option is at the paramount of of everything that they do moving forward. Since his promotion in 2017, options for gamers has become an everyday thing, and I think that's super important. Where you play your games, how you play your games, what controllers you play your games with, standard, elite, right? Play on the PC, play on your Xbox, right? Game Pass. If you can't, you can't afford to buy all of the first party games, guess what? They're in there for you. Options. I think that if there is a 4K camera that is dedicated to streaming and, of course, support of VR, it must be made as an option for the buyer, meaning that it should not come at that you have to buy this because it's in the box, because we know how that turned out and it was a disaster. And I think Microsoft is pretty good from learning from their mistakes. Zemi, do you agree with that? That if in fact this is true, and we don't know it is, right? This is what Gizmondo is reporting. And there may not be any truth to this, and then tomorrow, guess what? It's all over, and this subject was for naught. But because I pulled the story, and because it has relevance of who it's from, we're going to talk about it. What are your thoughts on it being an option for people to buy this 4K camera versus making people buy it inside the box?
I mean, I definitely think that they should not repeat mistakes of the past.
Right.
They in no world should they ever put this into a box and bundle it with an Xbox and not give the consumer the choice to not buy an alternate Xbox that doesn't have it bundled in. What they did, early on this generation with having the Kinect in the box with the Xbox, and it's the only way that you can, purchase that console. I think that was a huge mistake, and they should definitely not do that. And I don't think that they're going to do that. I think that Xbox has wisened up a little bit since the very beginning of last generation, as we've seen all throughout the second half of this generation.
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely don't think that that's going to be, an issue. But, and then once again, like this 4K camera is of course just a rumor. It's not confirmed. We don't know if it's going to come out or not. But just the way that I'm looking at it, I don't think it's going to be a Kinect. I don't think, I think like the whole Kinect thing is gone. If the rumor's true, and if there is going to be a camera, I don't think it's going to be used the way that a Kinect was used. I really don't see the benefit of having it as a webcam to go along with streaming on Mixer or even chatting with people on Skype on your Xbox, just for the simple fact that a 4K camera, that's, 4K cameras, that's kind of new technology in a way, and it's going to rise up the price of that webcam. When you can go and buy a 1080p webcam for a heck of a lot cheaper.
Right.
I just don't really see the benefit of streamers on Mixer using that as a 1080p. And even today, a lot of people that stream on Twitch, on Mixer, they whenever they have a webcam, a lot of the times, not everyone, but a lot of people have their webcam set at 720p because it saves on their computer's processing power and all sorts of things.
Bandwidth
so I just don't
also.
really see,
yeah.
So I don't really see the benefit of this camera, if it's true, being used as a webcam for streaming or for Skype or anything like that. And And so if they are building a webcam, I think it's most likely for VR that they would go with Oculus, as that's the safer bet.
Yes.
But if they do decide to go through with this camera, I don't understand what they would be using it for if not for VR. And if they went with this, Oculus is going to have its own little sensors in the box with it. So that just kind of really leads me to believe that they might be thinking more of creating their own VR headset.
No, it's possible. I mean, like I said, I personally, I would prefer them teaming up with Oculus, who has the technology done, who understands, again, I'm not saying Microsoft
it's
doesn't...
It's the safer bet for sure.
Yeah, it would definitely be the safer bet. And the camera obviously could be bundled, and probably would in fact be bundled in the VR, headset bundle. And again, if later on you want to buy, because right now you talked about this pre-game, you can go buy any web camera and plug it into your Xbox and it works, right? So again, it was an interesting story. A lot of people are up in arms about it. Some people, like I said, our good friend Randall419, who loathes the Kinect, was upset enough to do a video about it, which I thought was pretty interesting. But before I get to the second topic, there's a couple of things I have to do. First, I have to thank Sin Vendetta for the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, and this is funny, whatever Microsoft does with this camera, for the love of God, do not bundle the camera with Scarlett. And I think that's a good sentiment that everyone agrees with. But secondly, what I would like to do is I'd like to, I started a channel membership. I saw a lot of big time YouTubers doing it, and I was a little hesitant to do it because I don't want to oversaturate the channel itself with ways to help fund the channel. I just felt really weird about that, and I did it, and I gotta say, man, the community's response has been nothing short of, it makes me sit back in my chair and really it's a humbling feeling, folks. I mean, when I put this channel together, it was for the love of gaming, and the bonus was this community being accepted, and working with so many different other content creators, but getting a chance to get to know the community has been for me, the biggest present, in my opinion. So I just wanted to thank the channel members personally. First of all, Matt Burns, Philly Eagle, Lethal Papa, Masshole 1977, Aiden Williams, Jay Zayas, JD Gamer, Infinite Double A, Scrub Nurse, Moonwalker, Josette Rivera, of course, my wife, J-Force Gaming, Tempest Sun, Gamer by Choice, and Thanaros. Now, there's one other huge thank you I have to do because I was very surprised this morning, and my birthday was last week, and I had a great week. So many. I got so many birthday wishes. It was daunting to actually reply to everyone, and I actually did because I felt it necessary to thank everybody personally. And of course, on Friday, I got the real amazing news that Spider-Man's back in the MCU, so that was like a bonus present. And right. Today, a community member by the name of Jim Jordan sent me a message, and it was not only a message that was incredible as a content creator to hear, that he loves the channel and he really enjoys the 3 live shows a week. He sent me a Microsoft gift card for $70 so I could buy Ghost Recon. And even just talking about it is giving me goosebumps because, I don't expect anything. Now, for instance, this is extremely unexpected and very, very welcome because I was going to have to pass on Ghost Recon because, family responsibilities have to come first. I had to pass on Borderlands 3, had to pass on Control, and that's fine. I'll get them at the end of the year when they're super, super on sale, when Xbox has that end of year sale, and I'm okay with that because I have enough games to play. But I had to thank Jim Jordan for that because, my God, that's $70. And I know that may not be a lot of money to some people, but that's a lot of money to donate to someone that you don't even know. And I wanted to thank him for that because, wow, I was really, truly, truly taken aback. And of course, all the generosity that has been shown towards me through like the super chats over the shows, and it's really humbling and it's very, very welcome. But enough of that soppiness. I want to get into the topics, and the next one is a really good one. Microsoft's new flight simulator, which is looking absolutely ridiculously awesome, shocked the world when it was announced at E3. And I got to tell you something. This is a series that there are so many people, and not just Xbox people. I mean, PC gamers who have fallen in love, that have loved this series since it was sticks. You know what I'm saying? Sticks on the screen. Flight Simulator 1.0, which I saw a video of. And guess what? It looked horrendous. But people have been following this game. And I got to tell you, they were, Asobo Game Studios, who recently released A Plague's Tale. And Zammy, you're going to talk about that in a second. What a talented studio they are. Released a 32-minute preview video of, and I can tell you this, the graphics on Flight Simulator 2020, and I'm just calling it 2020 because that's when it's going to come out. That's not the official title. Look mind-bending. And it's actually very difficult to distinguish what you're looking at, whether or not it's real planes or virtually created ones. Now, Zemi, this is a bit of a loaded topic because there are 2 parts. So we're going to first talk about what Asobo Studios is doing with Flight Simulator, the 32-minute preview video, and then what your experience is with what they were able to do on A Plague's Tale. Can you take it away?
Yeah, no. I mean, like, this game looks huge. Like beyond anything that I have ever possibly played in my life. I was watching a YouTube video of this guy that went down to, it might be the video that you're talking about, I'm not sure, but this guy went to this convention or whatever and actually sat down and played the game. He said on a video that this game is 2 petabytes large. And so I didn't even know what a petabyte was, so I had to go look it up. And a petabyte is 2,000 terabytes. That just blows my mind how big this game is. Like, the actual game spans over the entire globe of the world. There's like 40,000 airports. The game looks absolutely beautiful. And apparently they used some technology where I guess they took Bing satellite photos of the globe and incorporated like that into the game. I mean, just the size of the game just looks absolutely just bonkers. I'm not really big into simulators. I've played a lot of them, like Bus Simulator, Truck Driver Simulator. I've played a lot of simulation games, but like this game really, really has me hooked. And apparently, to play this game, you're going to actually have to stream it to your Xbox or to your PC or however like they're planning on getting it to you. Because I don't think any hard drive that they're going to give you is going to be able to, hold 2,000 terabytes full of game.
Right.
But no, this thing is a monster. And just the fact that Asobo with, their limited staff is able to create this monstrosity is just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm going to come back around to you in a second because, like I said, there's some information that was brought to my attention by community amazing detective known as D Black Raven. But we're going to get into that into a second. Forte, did you get a chance to take a look at the 32-minute video that I sent? And more importantly, from what you've seen with Flight Simulator, from a small studio, the graphics that I have seen are on par with what you expect in every Forza game, right? Like whether it's Horizon or whether it's Motorsport, where you can see the leather stitching, the planes, the dashboard, the sky. When I watched the video, now I had let it play, and I came back around, and I did one of those, non-gamer things. I did a double take at the screen because I was like, is that the game? Or are they comparing that to like a real shot? And it was the freaking game. And I have to say, I was very impressed. What are your thoughts on what Asobo, a small studio, is doing with Flight Simulator 2020?
Oh, man. So I have played every Flight Simulator all the way up since 95. And I am a huge fan of that genre. I love airplanes. I almost went into the Air Force just because of that, and wanted to be. That was one of my things, astronaut, airplane pilot, all that type of stuff. So the one thing I will always tell people about these games is, you think cars were always the graphical push for showing off a system. Flight Simulator was that before car porn. It was like,
that's great. I love it. That's great.
If Forza is car porn, you never saw what real porn looked like when it comes to Flight Simulator, because it's pretty much been the most beautiful way of looking at anything, most realistic, ever since it's come out, and that's even back in '95 when the last first time I played it. The fact that this game is so huge, and it doesn't surprise me that it's 2 terabytes. Good God, that's a lot.
Petabytes. I know it's a word that we never say.
You never say it. I mean, when you said what it was, I knew what it was, but I was like, man, I haven't heard that in forever. But it's like 2,000 gigs. That it makes sense because they're literally mapping the whole globe. Like there's no stone unturned when it comes to that game.
So you could logistically fly anywhere. So there's no DLC required.
No.
And so like the way that it was explained during this guy's video, you can fly over like your house and like look down and try to find your house, like because it's like taken from Bing satellites. Now, of course, some parts of the map are going to be like 2 years old, so that new Taco Bell down the road that they just built might not be there, but like, generally speaking, you're going to be able to see, well, okay, that's my neighborhood, that's where I live, kind of thing, from what I gathered from it.
Yeah. And that's what I gather from it. I mean, just think like how Google Maps is always getting updated and you can see different things and stuff. This is how this game is. It's like literally a satellite image of the whole world. And it's remarkable. And this is what they use a version of this when they teach people how to fly. So that lets you know how powerful Microsoft Flight Simulator is. It's not just used in applications for just playing games. It's used as an application to teach, people how to get other people around the country and how to fly people here and fly people there. And it's remarkable. And then the one thing people don't know about, we just see the graphical fidelity of the game. You can pretty much tweak everything. Like if you want to fly in bad weather and you just like how we used to turn the snow on in a football game and we wanted to play in a snowball.
Yes.
You want
That's
just
great.
like when you wanted to stress out the game as much as you could just to play at night and turn the lights on. You could do all that in Flight Simulator and you can get a representation of exactly what's going on in the world. I think it's a huge thing. I actually was really happy when they announced it at E3 and I saw it. I was like, people were like, "Oh my god, it's Flight Simulator." And I was like, "Dude, that looks phenomenal."
It looks unbelievable. Better than any. What's crazy? What's crazy, Forte, is the fact that what we saw, and this game is early in development, looked as good as anything that has come out of Forza.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's like, to me, it looks better than Forza because it's not something you see every day. I see a car every day.
Yes.
When you go by an airport, and anybody that tells you they don't think about this, they're lying. When you go by an airport and you see a plane about to land, everybody looks at that plane landing. It's like you get mad when the trees start blocking the descent of the plane and you can't see it touch down because it's not something you see every day. So when you see something like that in a game and it looks true to life as it would be if you're looking at it in real life, that's incredible. So I'm looking forward to this game. I'm gonna play. It's coming on Xbox, which I can't believe, and it's gonna be for all those people that's got Game Pass Ultimate. You'll be able to play it everywhere. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, well, real quick, Elemental P in the chat, who's always here and also very generous, drops an amazing $2 super chat. And he says Asobo would be a great studio for Xbox Game Studio. Now, hold on a second now. This is where the detective known as D Black Raven comes in, because he hit me up in a DM and he sent me a picture of the dashboard of the game being made by Asobo. And it doesn't spell it out, but I don't believe in coincidences. And because our good friend Clobriel has been making the rounds on Twitter and had this to say, could we please add Asobo to Xbox Game Studios already? Seriously, mind-blowing work by the team. Now, getting back to Detective D Black Raven, the picture he sent me had a it's not a code, it's more like a bunch of letters and numbers on the dashboard, right, where you can see, and it says this: AS-XGSB. Now, I wouldn't have thought of anything because, there's some things you think about. But Raven said, well, AS could stand for Asobo. XGS could stand for Xbox Game Studio, and the B is the first letter of where they're located in France. And I gotta tell you, my spidey sense started going off because I'm saying, man, that's a pretty cool hint, and we know that XO19 is only a month away, right? It's a little over a month in London, and why wouldn't you want to sign Asobo Studios as a first party? And this is where I bring this question back around to Zemi. Now, Zemi, you were extremely fortunate to review a game that they put out earlier this year called A Plague's Tale by Asobo Studios. In your professional opinion, and I say professional because you are one, would you think that because of what you played, because of what you're seeing in Flight Simulator 2020, would they not make an ideal purchase for a first-party studio?
Yeah, so I mean, if Xbox hasn't already been talking with them about this, or trying, if they have not thrown out an offer yet, they're crazy, because A Plague Tale: Innocence is, I mean, the game is just absolutely mind-blowingly good. Like, I played through the entire thing. I really didn't encounter any bugs. It was almost like Last of Us or Nathan, like the Uncharted series. Just a very strong, linear, narrative-driven game with unique gameplay. I mean, it was a fantastic game. Still, right now, it is my number one game of 2019. Still, nothing has beaten it. And so Asobo is just one of those studios. Like, I had no idea who they were. And then A Plague Tale comes out. I hear about it. I look at the game for 2 seconds and I'm like, man, I want to play that. I play it. Now I'm in love with Asobo. Like, they need to pick this studio up, because the things that this studio would be able to do with Microsoft's, money, with their backing,
with the funding,
with more developers, is absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, A Plague Tale was great. This game is magnificent as well. I mean, this game is huge. Like, it is absolutely breathtakingly large. I mean, I don't know if there's ever been a game bigger than this one. I mean, and it's one thing if everything was pixels and whatnot, right? Because we've seen big games before, like Bethesda releasing Daggerfall a long time ago. But this game is big and beautiful. Like, the graphics are phenomenal. The physics look absolutely amazing, and it's the entire flipping world. Like, I don't understand why Xbox would have not even emailed them yet. Like, they need to send Phil Spencer over there with a checkbook and whatever it takes, pick these guys up, because these guys are a fantastic studio.
No, that's a great point. Forte, before I get to you, I have to thank Robert Jones for the outrageously generous $10 super chat. And he says something that Dreadpool, who's in the chat, kind of mentioned to me literally seconds before we went live, that the camera rumor was shut down by Microsoft hard. They denied it completely. See Jez Corden of Windows Central. Now, I respect Jez. I think the guy knows his stuff. I actually got a chance to meet him at E3, which was pretty damn cool. And like we were saying in the opening, this could just be a rumor. And of course, Microsoft, if they were probably a little paranoid, they shut it down. But I just thought it would be interesting to talk about the camera and kind of not just mean it for we're going to get stupid Kinect games, but VR could possibly be involved. So first of all, Robert, thank you for the outstanding generosity and of course the information. And thanks to Dreadpool, who sends me stuff all the time. He's another sleuth for sure when it comes to finding topics. I've used tons of his topics that he sent me for my shows. But Forte, I want to get to you on this. First of all, when you look at Asobo and you say they seem to fit the mold of what Microsoft is looking for when it comes to these first-party studios they're looking to add. You know what I'm saying? They're a smaller team. They have a tremendous amount of talent. If you look at A Plague's Tale, which is a great success for them, and then you turn around and you look at Flight Simulator, it appears it's going to be, that's back-to-back W's. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you want to, get these guys as a first party? But in your opinion, if Microsoft were to pick them up, make the announcement, of course, in London, which is very close to France, in Europe, do you think with the proper funding, they could logistically bang out something AAA level of a new IP?
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to developers, most of the time they just want to keep proving them stuff. They overall just have to keep doing what they need to do. Most of them don't want to be known for just the one game that they are really good at making. some of the people that been there for years wants to try something different. That's how the whole Bungie situation happened and why they wanted to break off, because they wanted to do something different. And that's the same with all the developers there. So if Microsoft was to give them that chance, I would think it would be very beneficial to just them overall, because not only are we talking about more power for you to be able to go out and make more games, but also just fun Game Pass even more. You know, people look at that as like, well, if they're putting in Game Pass, it really doesn't mean a lot. I'm like, well, no, that's more content. You don't say that about Netflix when they bring out stuff and put it into there, and it's only exclusive on that service. I mean, it's a service that they're trying to provide, and the more developers they have in it will be more beneficial. And the more developers that could put multiple types of games in there is even more beneficial. So I think they can definitely do a lot of different things, and a lot of them are probably just hungry to do something different, something else.
Yes,
that's why Plague's Tale is a thing. And if you think about the breadth of the scope of the things they make, think about it. They have two good games that are just completely opposite of each other. and then you go to other developers that Microsoft have, like 343, and they're just strictly Halo. And I understand when people sit there and say, I kind of want to see 343 do something else too. I don't want them to just be Halo. I don't want Coalition just to be Gears. I want to see more from them, because if they're able to manifest and bring out more stuff and more things for you to want to play, that makes that company and that developer even more valuable to Microsoft.
Yes.
And they're willing to double down even more into what they want to bring to the community when it comes to games.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I mean, there's the one thing that you never want to do is crush someone's creativity, right? Like, you don't want to, because that's obviously kind of what happened with Bungie. And I'm not saying Microsoft crushed them, but Microsoft wanted them to make Halo. They wanted to make Destiny, or something like Destiny before it was Destiny, and that's how the split happened, right? And Microsoft now is a different Microsoft, and they're letting their first party developers make what games they want to make. That's why Bleeding Edge is a thing, right? It started off with 5 people developing that game. And P.S. by the way, if you're one of these folks that are looking to shit on this game, let me just inform you that 12 people are making this game. 12. And the A team is doing a AAA game. Now, we're going to get into Ninja Theory because that's a big topic on today's show. But I want to move on to the next topic, and it happens to do with Gears 5. Now, as we know, Gears 5 has done so many things right. It actually pains me to talk about the next topic, but this is where I believe they've dropped the ball when it comes to the microtransaction situation that's going on. Now, as we know, Gears 5 does not have loot boxes like its predecessors did in Gears 4. And though it has offered a ton of free post-launch DLC, and that's gonna continue going forward, it's still a heavily monetized game. Now, I want this to be completely understood. Everything that you buy or potentially can buy for Gears 5 is 1,000% optional, meaning that it's cosmetic only. So if you are a gamer, guy or gal, and you have the spendable cash, where if you want that pink Lancer, or you want the Lancer that has dollar bills on it, you want that pattern, and you want to buy it, hats off to you. I have no problems with microtransactions because they are not strong-arming me. Nothing that you can buy in this game is going to change how we play. It's only going to make me look different from you. So I'm perfectly okay with that and have zero issues with that. But responding to a player on Twitter voicing similar concerns, the Coalition studio head, Rod Ferguson, said that they are still learning as we go, citing how different Gears 5, their monetization model is from Gears 4. Before, saying that the model we're currently seeing is in no way final, and that the Coalition will continue to evolve until they get it right. Now, I'm going to go right to Forte on this. Now, you work for GameStop, and you see people come in, because a lot of people are a little nervous about putting credit card stuff in on their consoles. Not so much for the Xbox, definitely for the PlayStation, because of all the hacking that has gone on. But people buy, the gift cards so they can put on their account and buy stuff. In your opinion, do you feel that the pricing for Gears 5 items like the iron or the skins for the guns or for the characters or whatever are egregious? And do you think that work needs to continue to get it right?
Okay, so when it comes to that, I can't blame the coalition for the pricing that they had. Now, granted, you can't blame them because they're in full control of it. But it's just like it's just like in the NFL. Some quarterbacks are worth $35 million a year, but all of them ain't. But guess what? The market says $35 million a year for a quarterback because that's the low.
That's the going price.
That's the going price.
Yes.
And when you got people like Fortnite out there charging $20 for skins, and people are doing it and guess what? The game is free. That is a free to play game.
Yes.
It's definitely it is a free to play game. But guess what? The only difference between that game being a free to play game and Gears of War is the fact that you just paid $60 for the game. But overall, in your mind, if you put 100, like over the course of Gears of War, if you put 100 hours, 200 hours into Gears of War, is that going to? When do you feel like you got your money's worth? Because
I agree.
Ultimately, it's going to come down to one thing: is the game fun enough for you to want to spend more money?
Yeah.
If the game is fun and you enjoy it and you don't want to look like everybody else, you're going to spend the money. But if you don't mind looking like everybody else and the game is still fun, you don't. That goes back to the whole thing saying everything is optional. It's all cosmetic. It's up to you. But Fortnite set this tone. They set the tone of how much stuff is going to cost microtransaction wise. Even Destiny, they have a tone set for how much you're going to spend for stuff, and they have loot boxes in the game. So, and that's a completely different thing. The one thing I will say is they allow you to buy what you want to buy.
Yes, that's a great point.
That allows them to kind of I'm not going to say price hike you, because if they had loot boxes, the loot boxes would probably cost like $1 each, like how Overwatch is. You can get great skins out of it, but it's all a dice roll. Depending on what you roll, you might get what you want. Compared to if you want this particular item, that's what you're going to pay for it. Right now, I'm looking at the Thunderlord. I'm looking at a skin for the Thunderlord machine gun in Destiny. They want 700 silver for that. That's $7 for a skin.
Yeah.
Just a skin. And that's in a game that not only I spent $60 on, I spent probably well over 300 when it comes to the whole entire
Oh, yeah. Well, you've bought it on multiple places. You've bought multiple.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're invested in there. They've got you. Yeah.
They got you. So, yes, it does suck that when you look at it, I won't say it sucks for the people that go into a game and they just want to earn this stuff and they don't even know nothing about this microtransaction stuff like that, because let's be for real. A lot of people got into Gears through Game Pass. Some of them only paid $1. Some paid the $10 a month to get access to it. Some paid the $15 to play it on PC. And it might be their first experience to it. So as soon as they get in and they see $20 skins or $10 skins, it's like, what is this? And then they find out they can't earn it in a more progressional way. They have to buy it if they want it. That could turn off a lot of people. But I always tell people this: when it comes to microtransactions, don't spend money on a game outside of the money you put down on it at first, unless you are in love with that game.
Yep, great point. That's a really great point.
Thing you can do. I didn't put money down on the multiplayer for Mass Effect until I loved that game. And then guess what? I spent $100 in the horde mode they had on there just because I wanted all the stuff that was in there. But I did it because I loved the game. If you're not gonna be into the game like that, don't spend no money because you're not gonna get any enjoyment out of it long time. So that's overall how I feel about it. But it does suck for people that know nothing about this, and that's the one thing I wish they do, kind of adjust the prices a little bit. Maybe if you don't have any achievements in any, because they know how many achievements you have in past Gears games. They know if this is your first one. Maybe you get a slight discount if you're the type of person that this is your first Gears of War game that you ever played. You know, thanks for coming. Thanks for trying our game out. Here's a small token of our appreciation. Here's
10% off.
Here's 10% off everything in the store for your first purchase. Something like that. And probably a bigger discount if you're a Gears fan that's been playing through all of them. Hey, your first purchase, 50% off. People would love that because then they would pick what they want, and that's kind of all they need. And then they just play through the game as normal. But that's what I think about it.
No, that's actually a great point. Zemi, I want to go to you because the one thing that you are not the biggest in is spending money additionally on a game that, you know, they're looking to, you know, to get that consumer to spend. You want to get a game, you want to play it, you want to enjoy it. And I got to be honest with you, like Forte was saying, the fact that you can buy what you want. Like you see something in the store and you want that whatever, you can pick it and buy it. You don't have to spend, like, obviously we look back at some of other games that, you know, the whole loot box thing that you spend, you know, $15 and you get nothing that you wanted, or you get a pair of boots and you really wanted the armor, right? What are your opinions on the pricing? Do you feel that they are egregious as compared to some of the other free-to-play games, or do you think that this is the way it has to be because all future content for Gears is free?
Yeah, I mean, so I think that they have some pricing issues. I think some things are priced very, very well. I think some things are priced a little bit too much. You know, I was watching some videos and I noticed that there were some people complaining that like a big pack of things like a character skin and multiple weapon skins might cost you $20. I think there was like a big pack of weapon skins that would cost you $25. But generally speaking, from what I saw with the microtransactions, which, you know, let's just be honest, with a game that has microtransactions, I was shocked that I actually had to go look for the microtransactions and I didn't have something pop up on the screen every 2 seconds saying, hey, you want to spend some money? Which I think is a huge thing for Gears of War. At least, you know, you actually have to hunt to go spend your money, I guess. But, you know, they have a character skin, like most, like their character skins are like $10 a pop, right? Fortnite is $20. Yeah, Fortnite's a free-to-play game, and, you know, Gears of War isn't. But, you know, I don't even really like to look at that and use that as a merit of whether or not you should spend money or anything like that. Because, you know, there's a lot of people that probably went out and paid money for Fortnite so that they could get the campaign, whatever mode, right? And there's a lot of people that bought Gears of War that paid $60 for it. So the whole, you know, well, you only spent $2 for it. I don't really think that matters in the least bit because, you know, you're still paying money to play the game.
Right.
But ultimately, I don't think that the microtransactions are really that bad. Not compared to other games. There's no pay to win. There's no loot boxes. Everything's cosmetic. They offer the player multiple ways of getting in-game, you know, skins and content just by playing the game. There are way more skins and way more weapons, you know, weapon skins just by playing the game and doing the tour of duty, which is kind of like the kind of like how Fortnite does their season pass thing.
Yes.
But the tour of duty is completely free. You don't have to pay anything to get involved in that. So they have so much content, so many weapon skins, so much stuff, banners, all that different stuff that you get just by playing the game. Yes, they have a few things in a store. But, you know, at least you know exactly what you're buying. $20 for this big pack that gives you all these different things. There's no gambling with it. It's you know, I don't know. It's just the way I look at. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm perfectly fine with how they're treating their microtransactions. So long as I go in there, they tell me what I'm going to get for the amount of money that I'm going to spend. I'm fine with that. I think that they might want to possibly switch around some of their prices, because some things are absolutely okay, like the character skins being $10. I think that that's fine. But then again, they have other things like to get like a flag. I think like it's like a flag banner, like to get the American flag banner to put it on your, on your account or whatever, so people can see it. It costs like $7.
That's
right?
ridiculous. I see. I agree.
Yeah. So there, I do see where some people are coming from, but I think on the grand, on the grand scope of is Gears of War's microtransactions awful or not? I don't think that they are compared to all of these other games. I think that their microtransactions are very tame.
Okay, I mean, listen, I'm glad that we were able to get everyone's opinion on it, because, like I said, it has been making the rounds on social media. I am glad that Rod Ferguson has addressed it, that they are going to work on fixing or tweaking some of the complaints of the community. If there's one thing that you can say about Gears 5, it was built with community in mind. And everything that people complained about in 4 regarding microtransactions are gone, right? I mean, there's no loot boxes, there's no gambling, and this is the way that they have done it. I think is going to be successful. I do think that they do have to adjust a few little things here, like a $10 skin for a character that you like to use is not a problem, especially when you look at Fortnite's 20. But if you want an American flag and it's $7 for a banner. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see that drop down to maybe $4. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that if you put one against the other, a skin for a character you're running around the screen and everyone is seeing, as opposed to a banner that no one's even going to give a crap about, really, right? And no one's really going to be looking at what banner does this guy have on, and start going through everyone's banner. No one cares. So I think that definitely needs to be addressed. But this was a great topic. I'm glad that everybody's on the same page. And I want to move on to topic number 4 now. Minecraft Dungeons just released the opening cinematic. And I got to be honest with you, folks, it looks pretty damn great. And the 2-minute trailer explained the story with a funny twist you've come to expect from Minecraft. Now, the cinematic trailer was released via the game's developer Mojang, and it highlights the game's story, which is seen, which will see adventurers going after a magical cube that's falling into the wrong hands. A simple story, D&D, if you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons. And it's going to be a Diablo-style action game with randomly generated levels and various different classes you can choose. Now, Minecraft Dungeons is going to release for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC sometime in spring 2020. Now, the game is the first standalone game, which is the original Minecraft developer by Mojang with assistance from the developer Double 11. Now, before we actually get into whether or not you're excited, the reason why I'm really looking forward to this game is because I'm an old school cat. I think that's well known. And I loved Baldur's Gate. Not the ones on the PC. I don't like those. But I do like the ones that were on the PlayStation 2. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, the missus and I would play for hours. We also played a little game that I'm not sure if anyone even knows what the hell I'm talking about, Champions of Norath, for the PlayStation 2. They had 2 of them, 1 and 2, and they were fantastic. And this is why I'm excited. Now, I don't necessarily think that the missus is going to want to play Minecraft. She's probably going to... I just bought Torchlight, and I think we're going to get into that over the weekend. But what I really want to get into is because there's been some banter from certain folks on the internet who consider themselves content creators. And there are a lot of people asking, why isn't this an exclusive for the Xbox and PC? And the easy answer is that Microsoft would be a fool not to make this available on the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch. Now, I am no mathematician by any stretch of the truth, but that would be giving up well over 150 million potential customers. And because Minecraft is available on everything already, it only makes perfect business sense to make Minecraft Dungeons available as well. So Forte, I want to go to you first on this. Are you up in arms over the fact that Minecraft Dungeons is going to be basically available on everything and coming soon to your refrigerator? And do you think that this was the right call for Microsoft's very expensive investment in Mojang?
Look, man, Minecraft has already been everywhere. It needs to stay everywhere.
Yep.
The one thing Microsoft did, the best thing they did was not pull support. I mean, the only support they pulled for Minecraft is when when Sony didn't allow cross save and cross play with the game. And that might change now that Sony actually is going to allow devs to do cross play and cross save going forward with all their games. But so I think that's going to change even with Minecraft. But Minecraft is such a big thing. The one thing I will say is when it comes to people walking into the store looking for games like Minecraft, people are like still shocked that there's not another version of Minecraft yet. And I don't think that it the platform that Minecraft has for just a base game. I think they're doing a really good thing with that. They're doing incremental updates to it. They're adding more expansions to it. They're adding more of this. They're adding more of that. So I think that's the best way for that one. I don't think a Minecraft 2 will really just knock everybody's socks off because they could just upgrade the platform they have, which is Minecraft, but making a completely different Minecraft, which Dungeons is, and it speaks to I'm not a Minecraft person. I play with. I don't want to play with virtual Legos. I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
but
I'm
guess
right there
what?
with you.
This game got me interested once they said the word dungeon and Diablo, because Diablo was the game before Destiny that came out that was like my in-between for all my console games. I played it on PC. I put thousands of hours into that game, and I just love the whole dungeon crawler thing. And then when you look at the trailer for this, it feels atmospheric, and that's the one thing that Minecraft in its normal state really doesn't have. You know, I mean, you make the environments you want, but to have this tailor-made experience for you already laid out, where it's a story that you progress through and there's actually a plot to it, and you don't have to come up with the plot yourself, is what I think Minecraft needs. They need that's what's going to get the people like me and Boom and Zammy's. That's the thing that's going to get us into the game, because we're here to play the games, not make our own games. I mean, that's just how it is at that point. But the game needs to be everywhere, no matter what, because that's the precedent that Microsoft set, and you can't change that, especially when you have a service called Game Pass that is something you want to put everywhere.
Yes, great point.
And that's going to be the biggest thing that they have to deal with. But ultimately, it's a good move that they're doing this, but just make sure the game stays on every platform, because that's how you maximize that $2 billion you spent on it in the first place.
No, that's that. Well, I mean, I think they've made their money back 2 times over. To be honest with you, there's no doubt about that. But Zemi, I want to get to you on this, but real quick. Pixel Bit G with the outstanding and very generous $5 super chat. He says, "Great content as always. Speaking of crossovers, I think it would be awesome, crazy if Cuphead will be released on Tesla cars for V10. Can't wait to try." Well, that's pretty ridiculous when you think about it, when Cuphead is being released as an added to the V10 of a Tesla. That's pretty interesting when you think about it. But Forte, I want to ask your opinion on this, because you are a man of business. Do you think it would have been a terrible mistake for Microsoft to pigeonhole this new Minecraft game, the beloved Minecraft, into just PC and Xbox or tablets or whatever, and completely skip over the PlayStation 4 and Switch, where, hey folks, if you don't know, every month Minecraft is either first or second on both consoles when it comes to sales? What are your thoughts on this, dude?
Well, you said Gaming Forte, but I think you meant me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry about that,
mean.
brother. I'm reading the chat and
you're fine.
yes.
No, I know how I feel.
I'm perfectly fine with it. Like, I don't see any problem with it. I mean, and you know, I'll even go a step further, and this is going to be probably a pretty unpopular opinion, but I'd be perfectly fine if they put Halo on PlayStation. I'd be perfectly fine if they put Gears of War on PlayStation.
Boo this man!
Perfectly fine if they put my beloved Fable on PlayStation.
Oh no!
And the reason why is because Xbox is still going to make a crap ton of money from it, and they're going to reinvest that in future games that then I get to play. Like, I don't care where the game gets sold. I just want to be able to play the game.
No, that makes sense. It's the truth, because at the end of the day, Microsoft they own all the IP, so wherever it is, they would in fact be making money.
Absolutely. You know, like, exactly. I mean, Xbox releases Gears of War tomorrow on PlayStation. They're still going to make a crap ton of money, you know? So, you know, like, I just don't like the whole thing, like, you know, don't put my console's games on their console. I mean, I just think it's a bunch of console warring, just
shenanigans.
Yeah, let's say that word. That's a nicer word. But you know, ultimately, as far as the game goes, I'm not super excited for it. I would say, I'm going to obviously get it. I'm gonna play it. It's gonna be on Game Pass, I would assume. But I've just never really been into the whole Diablo kind of gameplay and storytelling, and that's just not for me. Same way some people may not be into Bus Simulator. That's just not for me. But, you know, I did very much like the cinematic trailer. It looks like it's going to have a pretty good story. And, you know, I may absolutely fall in love with it whenever I give it a try. I don't think I will. But whenever, you know, like during that trailer, whenever that woman was like the narrator, did any of you guys get some Fable vibes off of her voice?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially when
that's what was happening to me. And it actually kind of made me want to play the game then. Because it reminded me of Fable, like just the narrator's voice, none of the gameplay. But yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a pretty good game.
I mean, listen, it's going to be interesting. It's certainly a different take on Minecraft for sure. It's something, because again, I own Minecraft. I might have put 2 minutes into it. I got it for my nephews to play. It's not something I want to do. But this is a horse of another color, and something that I would definitely want to sink some time into, especially the fact that you're going to be able to play up to 4 people. You can hang out with your friends and have a hoot. You know what I'm saying? As we wait for them to finally, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen, release Diablo 4. They're like Capcom. They can't pass. You know, they can't count past 3 or something. So but this would be a good game. I like the top down view, and I do like that Diablo style type game. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. So I want to move on to topic number 5. While we look at 130 people in the chat watching live, my goodness, folks, this has just warmed my heart. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are enjoying the content. Now, on to topic number 5. Now, this is being brought to us by the very famous and someone that wants to keep under the spotlight, Clobriel, who drops some tremendous Xbox information almost on a daily basis. But thanks to Dealer Gaming, who did a video, which if you don't follow Dealer, shame on you, follow that man. He's fantastic. And was a guest on Primetime Gaming a couple of weeks ago, did a video which was really good talking about Ninja Theory, and apparently they're staffing up for a big-time AAA genre-defining title to be released in the next few years. Now, this is something that both the Welsh Gamer and myself have been banging this drum for quite some time, and it's honestly not a surprise, because Ninja Theory is the real deal, and just about every original IP that they bring to the table is something on the lines of genre defying. And you know what? Here are the 6 LinkedIn positions that they are currently looking to fill. They're looking to fill senior video editor, a senior, and this has multiple positions, character artist, as well as a senior designer, which has multiple positions. Now, this is what it says. They want a focused team delivering high quality AAA title, aiming to set the bar for real-time characters using Unreal Engine 4. Now, why this is not surprising, guys, is there are actually community members that have publicly called out Ninja Theory for developing Bleeding Edge, which looks outstanding. And I said earlier, originally started with 5 people, and they're up to the whopping 12 people developing a passion project, which, by the way, I saw at E3. People have played the alpha or the beta, whatever it's called, and it looks to be fun as heck. And it's going to be added to Game Pass, which is great. But there are some content creators that swear up and down, and I don't know what Bible they're swearing up and down on, that Microsoft purchased Ninja Theory so they could, I quote, produce AA games to just be added to Xbox Game Pass. And I think that is absolutely the dumbest shit I've ever effing heard. Let's not forget that Hellblade was made by 20 people. And that in itself is a milestone. Now, to add to my point of pure talent, this studio is constantly, with every release that they do, upping the ante in what they can do as a small team. Now, here's my question for both Forte and Zemian. Forte, I want to go to you first. Ninja Theory has always brought their A game without a big budget, and my evidence is Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice. That's an effing masterpiece. What are your thoughts and expectation for Ninja Theory's highly anticipated AAA big budget title that should be releasing in the next few years?
So, what would we consider something like Heavenly Sword when it came out for Sony? People didn't say that wasn't a AAA game when it released. It was like one of the most marketed games that Sony had during that time. Meaning, if they put that much marketing dollars to talk about that game as much as they did, you would think it's a AAA game. And Hellblade, once again, made by 20 people, like you said, is not considered a AAA game because of how much money they put into it.
Yes, the financials behind it is why it's not a AAA game.
And that's the thing. Just because the financial side of it doesn't add up to it being AAA doesn't mean they didn't put a AAA effort into making that game.
Great freaking point.
That is the one thing that's always bugged me about the whole AA versus AAA argument. You know, you're basically trying to tell a person that the art you made isn't up to this great quality because of factors that you have no control over. I can be the best artist in the world. I can draw. I can be everything, but I work for a company that doesn't have the means to show it off as much as other ones do. But that doesn't make my effort not AAA.
Thank you.
And that is the thing that's always bugged me about that. The one thing I really loved about this whole situation is Ninja Theory themselves said, we've been building these games with these multiple teams for years. None of our teams have been together. They said honestly they don't even remember the last time their whole studio worked on one individual game because they've been trying to just keep the company afloat. Now they don't have to worry about that because they have Microsoft as a backer for them to do that. But they still have to finish out all the projects that they started. And they said they can't wait to be able to have their whole studio power behind one game.
Could you imagine if all of that talent worked on just one IP?
And that's what they're wrapping up for. They're closing out development on these other games they're making. They're hiring new development leads and character artists and design leads and stuff. You're going to start seeing this studio really flex itself because, like I said, Odyssey was a great game. Love that game.
That was
Odyssey
fantastic,
that
dude.
was a really, really good game. Very underrated. People didn't. The reason people didn't play it is because it was just so much other stuff to play, and that's another thing with the difference between AA and AAA. We consider Call of Duty AAA every year, so that game gets the billing to be a game that's going to be want to play it. But guess what? Black Ops 4 didn't have a single player in it. Do you still consider that game a AAA when they cut out half the content just because of the money they put into it? I say Activision didn't do enough to make the game AAA, and that's why people are super pissed about it, and some people didn't go out and buy the game. Let's not worry about the money that's put into a game. Let's worry about what we get from that game and the passion they put behind it. But I can't wait for them to be able to put their whole studio behind a single cause. And it looks like they're going to start doing that going forward. And that's why Microsoft picked them up, because they were intrigued by the story that they showed, and they were able to tell with 20 people on a game that was $29.99, not $60.
$30.
They gave you a six. I won't even say six because there's no multiplayer, but even if it's no multiplayer, it still doesn't matter. Even if that game, I would have paid 40, 50. I mean, dude, I bought that game on 2 different platforms.
Me too. I supported them by buying it both.
Much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. That $30 game is the reason Microsoft went out and purchased them, amongst other reasons too. But this is a good thing. I can't wait to see exactly what happens with that, and it's going to be nothing but good for Xbox in general when it does.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Zemi, I want to get your point on this because, you know, the one thing that kind of frustrates me as a content creator is when you see people who believe that they have a right to have a voice in this community and are just knuckleheads. And it really does put a damper on what Microsoft is trying to do when all they do is beat a hate drum. You know, and to be honest with you, they must have a bored life because it's boring as F to just be hate all the time. And there's so much to be excited about as a Microsoft fan, but more specifically, Ninja Theory is a big-time developer. And when you hear that they're looking for positions as, you know, in senior positions to make a game that's going to be a new IP, that's going to be genre-defining, that's going to be character, story-driven defining, as a fan of someone, again, like for instance, you love story. It's something that you as a gamer enjoy first and foremost. When you hear that they're staffing up to tell a new tale in the way that they tell it, how important was this pickup for Microsoft's first party?
I mean, it's huge. You know, I mean, you know, I've been, you know, some people may agree, some people may disagree. I absolutely admire PlayStation first party games because of the story that they're able to tell in their worlds. You know, Xbox has done that a little bit. You know, Rise of Son of Rome was a great starting point. Quantum Break was an even better one. And you know, just the fact that they have a studio like Ninja Theory who made Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, that's going to elevate them even more. Mm-hmm. And that's why I would really love to see Asobo Studios get acquired from them as well, because, you know, they prove that they can do a really strong narrative game. So I think it's definitely absolutely you know, crucial for Xbox to get these types of studios, to build these types of studios up. And, you know, a lot of content creators going out saying, well, you know, they just acquired Ninja Theory to create AA games. I have no problem with that because their AA game beats the heck out of some AAA games.
That's a great point.
What's wrong with a game being AA? Like, look at it like this. You know, Void Bastards came out this year. Probably not everyone's favorite game, but I guarantee you there's at least one gamer out there who that is his game of the year. You know what I mean? So just because a game is, you know, is AA, AAA, that doesn't matter. All that matters is the quality of the game and how much you're going to have to pay to play that game. It doesn't matter if it's AA, AAA, or whatever. So I, you know, so I just don't really understand that whole argument. Well, you know, they're just going to keep making, you know, AA games. I just don't get it. I mean, they're building this studio up. They're hiring people to make their games even bigger and even better. So yeah, I don't really get it.
Me either. And you know what? I'm glad that that Microsoft doesn't listen to knuckleheads, and they know talent when they see it, and they're going to do something great. And when it comes out, whenever that may be, it's going to be something special. It's going to be an exclusive, and it's going to be what we've come to know, expect, and love about Ninja Theory. But I want to move on to the next topic, and it involves one of my favorite subjects, and that, of course, is Xbox Game Pass. They just announced what games are going to be coming this month in October, and all I can say is, my God, they've done it again. Xbox Game Pass is getting even better this month with the newly announced additions of several big titles, including the hit Arcane Studios developed Dishonored 2, which was fantastic. Xbox Wire has revealed a slew of new games, joining Microsoft's gaming subscription service for October, and there's a lot to talk about. Okay, so this is what you're going to be getting. You're going to be getting Dishonored 2, World War Z. If you did not play that game, this is your opportunity to play one of 2019's, I honestly think, sleeper hits. Ukulele is everything I could possibly want in a game because I'm a big platformer, especially Banjo-Kazooie. I'm still banging on that drum that we're going to get a new one. And this is the dates. This is what you're going to be getting. On October 3rd, you're going to be getting Dishonored 2, you're going to be getting 3 games, actually. You're going to get Dishonored 2 on October 3rd, World War Z and Ukulele on October 10th. You're going to be getting Fallout New Vegas and Felix the Reaper and Panzer Dragon Orta on October 17th. And on the 26th, well, it's Obsidian's The Outer Worlds. And man, if you are not subscribed to this incredible service, I say, what the H are you waiting for? Now, I want to go to Zemi first on this. What are your thoughts on the Netflix of gaming, and how the heck do they continue to make this service better each and every month, dude?
Well, I think how they make it better each and every month is just with, the overwhelming support of the subscription. I think the more people that subscribe, the more games we're going to get to play and see on this, on this service. I'm blown away by, just wipe away everything else, right? If there was just the Outer Worlds, it would be a fantastic month. So, adding in World War Z, which I don't like scary games. Everybody knows this, but I've had my eye on this game and I really want to play it. And so, with it being on Game Pass, I can now, get some of my buddies in a party and we can run through and I'll have their moral support and they'll have me shooting zombies and everything will be great. Right. Felix, what was the name of the game?
It's called Felix the Reaper.
Yes, Felix the Reaper. I saw something of that, maybe half a week ago or something like that. That game looks absolutely outstanding and just a complete blast if you like puzzle games and stuff like that, which I do. And then Fallout New Vegas, that is just a banger from a long time ago, but it's still really, really good. I don't know if I'm going to play that because I've already played it, but just the quality of what they're putting out this month is just mind-blowing. And if someone is not subscribed to Xbox Game Pass, I don't know what they're waiting for.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And Forte, I want to get your opinion on this. This is a list. This is a staggering list of quality titles. Now, now, of course, Semi was referring to The Outer Worlds. If that was the only thing you were getting, that's a big-time AAA game you're getting for the price of free technically if you subscribe to Game Pass and you were able to extend it with all the deals that they've had. But when you look at everything else that they're adding, Dishonored 2, Yooka-Laylee, World War Z, Felix the Reaper, Fallout New Vegas, one of the most beloved Fallouts in the history of Fallout, and then of course you're getting Panzer Dragon Orta, another classic beloved title, and then The Outer Worlds. What are your thoughts on the price of admission and what they continue to do to make this a subscription you can't say no to?
Well, right now, can't you still get Game Pass for like $2 for 2 months or something?
I think you still can, yes, which is ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, yeah, man, it's Game Pass has ultimately become one of my favorite services. And that's from a person that really doesn't even have to buy his own games as it is for the most part anyway. I just think that the value proposition that they give you with all of those games is very beneficial to not only just you, but the people that even live in your house. You got to remember, most of us in this community, we're not young. We have kids and we have families.
You have responsibilities. Yes.
You have responsibilities. And being able to, even if you're not getting in on the ground floor where it's $2 or $1, it's just very beneficial to not have to spend all that extra money on video games. You know, this hobby is very expensive. Games are anywhere from, for the most part, $60 and down, from 30 to 60. And games like The Outer Worlds that is literally coming out in Game Pass, and you don't even have to buy it. You just have to pay for a subscription service to access it, is a very beneficial thing. You're talking about Dishonored being one of the best action stealth games, because there's no action stealth game that's quite like Dishonored. That's the one thing that it has. And that game is very beneficial. Then you also, World War Z. When's the last time you got anything that came close to Left 4 Dead? That's what that game is.
Dude, that game is freaking amazing, dude.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people, don't realize. They talk about the games that are in it. Well, think about, every game doesn't have to be this AAA game, and they don't have to spend billions and billions of dollars to make you want to play in a service. Sometimes it's just beneficial just to go in and enjoy the games that are in there, and they're giving you reasons to do it every single month.
Crazy
these updates. And guess what? And then if you want to even be more bullish on it, think about what's coming.
Yes.
Think about the games that are in the future. They already told you Halo's going to be in there day one. So what about the other games? You got all these other third-party games, and then they're surprising you with these third-party not acquisitions, but games that are going to come in there day and date that nobody even thought of. So, to me, it's one of the best services that you can possibly have. Especially if you're getting in at the ground floor where it's $1 to $2 just to get your feet wet. Because I guarantee, even before they offered this big discount on it, I already had Game Pass and was paying $10 a month for it until they gave me Ultimate, and I was able to just move over my whole subscription. But guess what? I still would have paid $10 a month for the subscription, because it's worth it just to have all your games in one place. And who knows what Microsoft's going to do in the future with that? We know xCloud is a thing that's coming up soon. Who knows? xCloud, we're theorizing on it, but that might be part of the Ultimate Game Pass.
Yeah, which I believe it is. Yeah,
I do too. And that might be a way for you to stream all those games that you have access to that's in that service. So the sky is the limit. It really just comes down if the games, if it's a benefit to you, which it should be if you're a gamer. That's why I think Microsoft's doing nothing but good things with this service.
I'm going to say this, and I kind of want to put this out there for perspective purposes. Again, I don't get anything from Game Pass. As a matter of fact, something cool happened the other day on Twitter. They were asking for, they put out a tweet, Xbox Game Pass, regarding, they showed a picture and said, for this particular caption, we want to see explosions. So I happened to find one that no one ever really uses, and I put it out there and I said, "Oh, you want explosions? Here you go." And they actually responded to me and said, in all caps, "You were born for this." Now, when I heard that, obviously it made me tickle pink, because my end game dream is to work for Microsoft. I don't care where. If you want me to clean the trash, I'll do it. But I'd rather work in marketing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what they need help at.
But I thought that was pretty cool. But I want to put this into perspective. But before I do, I have to thank someone that I'm a big fan of. Lady Foxfire, who is an amazing content creator, drops an outstanding and very generous $2 super chat. And she says, "Thank you for all the content and positivity, bro. And it is my absolute pleasure and honor to do this multiple times a week because I love gaming. And more importantly, I absolutely adore everyone in this community. Even if you're a bit of an a-hole, I'll find something to like because my glass is always half full rather than half empty." But here is my perspective point, guys, and chat. While the $2 deal is going on, right, which everyone likes to throw, oh, it's only because it's $2 that they have million subscribers. Folks, just remember you can only do that once. But I just want to put this into perspective once again. For that $2, if you joined, you could play Gears of War 5 and The Outer Worlds. Think about that just for a second. If you are someone on the outs, let's say, for instance, you were, a little touchy about, adding additional services to your already 10 that you have with Hulu and everything else. You're playing Gears 5 and The Outer Worlds, 2 AAA games for $2. You can cancel at any time, but you got a chance for 60 days to play these games on top of everything else. It's just ridiculous. Now, real quick, before I move on to the last topic, LMNOP drops an additional $2 super chat, and he says, "Do you think MS or Microsoft will announce xCloud for GPU soon?" It's for, and what he means by that is for Game Pass Ultimate. Listen, Game Pass Ultimate is exactly what it means. It's everything in one, in one package. And I'm pretty sure that xCloud has been already worked into that infrastructure. It would not make any sense for Microsoft to try and put everything into one affordable monthly plan, and then come out with another one that says, oh yeah, by the way, the $15, but over here it's 10 for this, making it 25. Now I think that it's been baked into it. They just haven't announced it as of yet. But the last topic, now on my notes, I have Halo Reach talk, and even though that's important, I kind of want to just stray off the path for a second. And this is an added topic because I remembered it as I was going through the show notes. I don't have it listed as a number. I have it just notes in there. Now, a couple of days ago, Chris, the Xbox Fan Fest guy, you know him from, he's very, very vocal on Twitter. He works for Microsoft. If you don't know who he is, he was amazing enough to spend almost over an hour with both the Welsh Gamer and myself talking about his 15-year career in gaming, who's he worked for, and what the Xbox community means to him, and what Xbox Fan Fest means to him a couple of shows ago. You can always go to the channel and check it out. It was a magnificent interview. But he posted something on Twitter that, because I'm such a big fan, I had to respond to this. Now, this is of course a speculation kind of a topic, but one I really enjoy talking about. And it's him in a music store, not playing a guitar, right? Not playing the drums, but he was playing the banjo. Now, here's the thing, folks. I have heard on numerous shows, and I listen to a lot of them. Listen, I'm a fan at the end of the day as well as a content creator, and I listen to pretty much everyone's stuff. And there are some people that have said, well, why does Microsoft, or do the Xbox platform, need a Banjo-Kazooie? And the answer is, you're goddamn right they do. Because of old bastards like myself who've been gaming since the days of sticks and dots. And I am a huge Banjo-Kazooie fan. And I thought it was a little unusual for him to be playing a banjo and putting that out there. Now, we know we have XO19 only a little bit over a month away, and I have been banging this drum once again to say that we are, in fact, going to get a new Banjo-Kazooie, a reboot of sorts. And I say that because, well, I mean, Banjo-Kazooie's been in the news. There's merch for him through, of course, the very famous or infamous pirate game known as Sea of Thieves, right? And he also, Banjo and Kazooie, found their way into Smash Ultimate, which is amazing. So it makes sense. As a matter of fact, the president of Nintendo said that he wants people to play Banjo-Kazooie on the rare game, the rare Ultimate Package game. And why would he say that? So here's my opinion. Here's my point to the community. First of all, give me a 1 in the chat if you want to see Banjo-Kazooie announced at XO19, and give me a 2 if you don't care whatsoever. But I have to go to my panel. Zemi, I want to go to you. Banjo-Kazooie is a beloved character and a franchise that deserves a place in 2019 or 2020. Do you think that they should consider bringing back this IP?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not the biggest Banjo-Kazooie fan. I played it back on the N64, have not touched it since then. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on it. I really wouldn't. One of my buddies, he recently got Spyro, and I think it was like the Spyro and Crash like kind of like duo thing, and he was telling me that I should definitely check it out. And so I've been thinking about, you know, resorting back to my old ways back on the PlayStation 2 and checking out Spyro again. So, like, you know, it's an older series. I'm sure a lot of really young gamers out there, like younger than me, I'm 26, but I'm sure some younger gamers probably wouldn't have no idea what those characters are, who they are, and I think it would be great for this game to come out so they could possibly you know, experience what a lot of us have already experienced. So I definitely think that it I definitely want to see it come out, but I'll even go one step further. If they did decide to make it, I would really want it to be multiplat. I would really want it to be on PlayStation, and I would really want it to be on Nintendo as well.
I could see it actually going to Nintendo before it went to PlayStation, to be honest. I can see a dual deal, very similar to like Ori and the Blind Forest or Cuphead, because obviously Banjo is in Smash. It would probably sell very well on the Nintendo console. Shit, I would buy it there on top of owning it through Game Pass. But I don't necessarily say PlayStation, but I think Nintendo for sure.
Now, with you talking about Chris like playing the banjo and you think banjo, I think you're looking a little too far into that. I think
it's possible.
Really likes bluegrass music. Yeah. He's probably just a really big bluegrass fan. No, but I don't know. I would really like to see the game happen because I would want to play it. And then I would want, you know, all of like the younger generation, all like the 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds out there to be able to play it as well. And there's definitely not enough games directed to children, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and obviously, Super Lucky's Tale, which if you didn't play it, it's in Game Pass. I beat that game. I beat all the DLC. I enjoyed the heck out of that game and would really enjoy a new Banjo game. But I want to go to, of course, Gaming Forte. Now, you obviously have kids. You are not as old as me. I don't think anyone is as old as me in this field, to be honest. And I'm okay with that because, like I said, it's a badge of honor to say that I got a chance to play when things were sticks and dots to where they are now. I'm happy with that. But in your opinion, and with what Zemi just said, he makes a good point. There are kid games, but not too many kid games. Do you want to see Banjo and Kazooie resurrected in today's graphics?
I definitely would. I mean, I think overall, when it comes to games that we grew up with, everybody wants to, you know, kind of see where things have evolved and things have gotten better and improved that. And a game like Banjo, especially since we have it's like one of those properties like Nintendo has. That's like a kind of endearing thing that
Yes,
Microsoft has in their stable that they're not really using. I think that's the one problem that a lot of people have with some of the IP that Microsoft just holds on to. They never really go back and try to hash out some of those older IPs, especially the stuff like the Banjos. I mean, even Conquer. I mean, Conquer it's not a family friendly type thing, but those are that's still a type of game that a lot of us Xbox fans would love to have rehashed and stuff. And I enjoyed Bad Fur Day on the original Xbox.
It was great, dude.
It was such a fun game. Storming the Beach, man. I remember it. It was I did it every day for a while. But that game was amazing. But when it comes to this, especially since they just announced that Banjo is coming to Smash Brothers on the Switch. That's like that kind of gives people somewhat of a little look at what it could actually be like to actually have a character like that and make a game that is built around him. Even if you remastered the older games or anything like that, you don't even have to do anything new like that. I mean, we would prefer to have a new game, but even if you remastered it with the way that the graphics look now,
well, if let's for instance, they took a Spyro approach, which by the way, Zemi, exactly. Spyro's $20 on Xbox Live right now until the 30th. Oh, I think it made it's the 30th. Oh, maybe it passed. It was $20 over the weekend.
And remastering. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, remastering these old games is just. I mean, it's a proven success. People will eat that up.
Yes, they will.
Crash Bandicoot did really well, and that's how we got Spyro.
Yes.
I mean, and so that's another thing. And then that also goes into the thought process of what Microsoft wants in their services. I mean, if you remaster these older games, that's just more ammunition to put into Game Pass to get people to want to subscribe to it. I mean, ultimately it's a circle. It's like what are you willing to put into it to get even more content out of it? And that's what they need to decide as a company. What are we willing to put in? What are we willing to get out of it? Do we think that this game is going to do as well as we want it to do? It really shouldn't be about that. It should just be about giving people better games to play overall. And if that's what they're thinking on it, I would support that 100%. But I want another Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, no, that makes two of us. Real quick, Atrocity Knights drops an outstanding and very generous $5 super chat. He says, check out Why Banjo-Kazooie is So Awesome by Actman. Appreciate your Boom and your passion, and of course the whole panel. Well, thanks so much for the generosity, and I will definitely check that out. I appreciate you being here and listening. And closing out today's show, we got some Halo Reach talk for Xbox One. Apparently, the testing for PvP are inbound and invitations are going out this week. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I hope I'm definitely one of them because I loved Halo Reach. I really did. And in a blog update on Halo Waypoint, developer 343 Industries has posted a new status update about Halo Master Chief Collection coming to PC and Reach being added to the collection. Following PC testing the last few months, Xbox players will be happy to learn that 343 is gearing up for testing the first Halo Reach flight on Xbox One. The team is currently hard at work at the flight's final build, and official invitations are expected to be sent out to a select group of Halo insiders in the next few days. Now, this is what they actually... I'm going to say this. Halo Reach is the last of the Halo games that obviously not in the Master Chief Collection, and I could only imagine what it's going to look like in 4K and 60 FPS. And even though that, I mean, some people think it's one of the best Halos released in a very long time, I'm very excited to finally get a chance to play this. Now, I'm probably not going to be running to play the PvP on an everyday basis. I'll dabble in it, but I am really looking forward to the single-player campaign. But I want to get the opinion of course, my two co-hosts, and I'll start with Zemi on this. This is going to be a big game and a big additive to the Master Chief Collection. What are your expectations and or excitement levels for this game being added to this very, very stout Halo collection?
You know, I'm definitely pumped. I really wish that they would have added it sooner, because a couple of months ago I was actually going through every single Halo, beat pretty much I beat all of them just again through the Master Chief Collection, and got a bunch of achievements and stuff. And the entire time that I was playing like Halo 1 and Halo 2 and Halo 3, I was just thinking to myself, you know how great it would be if I could play Reach before these. That way I could play them kind of like in chronological order. And I'm a huge Halo fan. I am a huge fan of Reach. It was the last game Bungie created, if I'm not mistaken, in the Halo series.
Yep.
I love the multiplayer. I really, really, absolutely, thoroughly enjoyed the campaign. That's probably what I'm mostly going to dabble in, just because there's so many games that are coming out this fall and then into the spring. I'm probably not going to have enough time to play Halo Reach online with Call of Duty, Gears of War, everything. I mean, but I am very much looking forward to replaying Halo Reach, and yeah.
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting for sure, and for me, like I said, I'm right there with you in regards to single player campaign. I'm looking forward to that more than anything. And closing out today's outstanding 8-topic show, Gaming Forte, what are your personal expectations and wants from the 4K 60 produced Halo, one of the premier Halo games? What are you expecting?
First of all, I'm there day one. Reach is one of those games that really, it told a story that we never knew outside of reading in a book.
Yep.
And I read Fall of Reach multiple times. It's one of my favorite novels to read, and that's what got my love for Halo started. Having it remastered or just updated to 4K 60, playing Halo at 60 by itself is just a marvelous thing if you haven't ever got a chance to witness that. But getting the visual fidelity, going back in there with Noble Team, playing the single player, one of the best single player Halo games. I think it's even better than some of the better numbered series.
Yeah,
because it was more personal to your experience. You weren't Master Chief. You were the rookie. You were Six. That's who you were in that game. And knowing it and still knowing how that game ended. Everybody knew how Reach was going to end because it basically goes right into the first Halo. We all knew. And it was still very impactful all the way to the very last mission where you had to survive. I did that last mission, just surviving. I did that for 30 minutes. I was like, is it going to end? And then I found out what happens at the very end. And I was like, oh, I like that they did that. And it gave my character more, it made that character feel more like it was my character. And so I'm in for that day one. The multiplayer, Halo Reach's multiplayer wasn't my favorite just because that's when they went the Call of Duty route with the armor locks and all the different Spartan abilities and stuff. It's still one of the better ones. This is the first one they added. It's the first Halo they added the sprint button to, which I am a fan of. I don't even know how the hell you play Halo without a sprint button anymore. But the game overall is going to be a gem. And it's going to run at 4K 60 on Xbox One X. And it's also coming to PC soon. So that's going to be a whole nother thing for you to look forward to if you're in that gaming spirit too. Hey, we just want Halo to be what we always thought it could be. And this is just another step in that direction before Halo Infinite comes out.
Well, listen, all I can say is that I agree with you 1,000%, and that's going to do it for today's show. But before we get out of here, LMNOP with the outstanding additional generous $2 super chat. He says, Bungie is a free agent developer. What's Microsoft waiting for? Yeah, you know what, dude? I said that right from the beginning, and I don't necessarily know they would ever do that again.
Bungie don't want to be purchased.
Yeah, I just think that they're going to be one of those developers that got out of a really, really abusive relationship and is probably never getting married again. And I say good on them because, you know, now again, are they friends? Does Phil Spencer talk with the head of Bungie on a regular basis? Heck, they play together. They did it a couple of weeks ago, and we obviously know that Microsoft has the marketing rights for the new DLC. So I think that relationship is gonna continue to grow. As for being a first party again, I would love it, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. But of course, I want to thank, we had almost 130 people watching live, and I have to say that, my goodness, that is heartwarming, and it really is. It made me sit back in my chair and just kind of sigh for a second, because that's awesome. That many people enjoying the content that I'm able to put out there for people, that in itself really just makes me smile. But of course, I could not do this show if it wasn't for the amazing 2 co-hosts that were able to snag. And Zemi, I want to go to you first on this, dude. Obviously, you're going to be joining me tomorrow morning on Breakfast with Boom, which I'm going to be sending out those topics to the panel members, which I've already announced. It's going to be a great panel. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, because my God, this guy needs some help with the Twitter numbers. But more importantly, check out your outstanding YouTube channel.
Well, thank you so much, Boom. And thank you once again for inviting me to the Xbox Factor podcast. I always love coming on here. And hopefully you'll have me on here in the next couple of months again for my fourth showing. But yes, guys, if you guys want to go and check out my YouTube channel, it is called Zimmy Games, and you guys can also follow me on Twitter at Zimmy Games as well. Thank you so much, Boom.
It's my pleasure, and it's always great to work with you. And of course, I have to go to my brother from another mother. You know him as not the GameStop guy. He's actually one of the main cogs that keep the Basement Radio Arcade podcast rolling. And that, of course, is Nautical, a.k.a. Gaming Forte. Dude, you run a tight ship. You are an integral part on that show. But you do bring a lot to the community, as well as the content creation community. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter. But more importantly, check out your outstanding YouTube channel.
Yeah, Gaming Forte everywhere, Twitter, YouTube, even on Facebook if you ever go there. Yeah, man, this was another show. As always, Boom always puts together great shows, and definitely always here to help whenever I need to, and definitely looking forward to what you guys have to talk about tomorrow.
It's going to be a very heavy dose of PlayStation and Sony information.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it's a lot of conspiracy theories out there about what's going on. So I'm definitely looking to see what you guys got to bring to the table. But yeah, man, make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out, man. This show is powered by you guys. Boom puts on these shows because he just likes talking to the community, and it gives people like us the platform to be able to talk to you guys too. So do your best, share this video out, and hit that like button before you leave.
I definitely appreciate that. And once again, I want to thank the outstanding chat. You basically policed yourself. And this is, in fact, been voted one of the friendliest chats on the interwebs, and I do greatly appreciate that, because at the end of the day, we're all gamers and we just want to have fun. So listen, enjoy the rest of your day, even though it's a rainy Thursday here in New York, and we have a lot to look forward to, and I will see everyone next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.